blah. Here we go. And we are live. I drink and I know things. Number 6, number 7, number 21. I don't fucking know. How's it going, everybody? This is Mad Dodge Productions. I am the Mad Libertarian. I'm here with my usual panel of misfits and degenerates. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, fuck you too.
Looking for something to be degenerate on.
Oh, well, we'll get to that here in just a second. So, overall topic for today. One, we're going to talk about the Manafort report if we can find anything
The
out.
Manafort report?
Whatever. Fuck off.
That's just a great way to describe it, to be honest.
Yeah, right?
Do you mean the Mueller report?
Mueller, Manafort, I don't give a fuck. Like, can you get these people straight anymore? I mean, shit. We're like, who are these people anyway?
E.T.?
but here's the thing. All right.
Phone home, E.T. phone home.
Anyway, okay, so here's the thing. Overall topic of the day is guilt by association. So if MC likes to drop space rocks on LA, does that make me responsible for it just because I happen to know MC and hang out with them? If somebody drops the N-bomb, am I responsible for their actions? What if, God forbid, my wife liked the Roseanne show and now she refuses to watch the Connors? Am I responsible for my wife's actions? Am I responsible for my best friend? How about your cousin that's a bank robber? Are you a bank robber automatically? What exactly is the point of lumping people together and making them responsible for others' actions?
Well, it's not. I think one thing that you're conflating, right, is you're not conflating another's action. Okay, it's their constant activities. Okay, and people will sit up there and judge you by who you hang out with and whether or not you seem to be around when these activities, whether they're good or bad, all right, are taking place. If you're always around people when good things are happening, people start to ascribe good things to you. If you're around when bad things are happening or the other people are doing bad actions, you're going to get tarred and feathered with that as well. You have to be able, you have to understand that.
And I think it's a matter of who you're hanging around with. The crowd. Say you hang out with MC more than you hang out with Jensen. If he drops, okay, you used the N-bomb, so I'll go with that. If he uses that word more, and you're hanging out with MC more than you're hanging out with Jensen, they won't necessarily go to you and say that you're guilty of it as well because you were.
I kind of get your point. I see where you're going here. So, like, you hang out with a bunch of Klan members. Yeah, you might be a fucking Klan member. I understand that. Same thing with Antifa or what have you. I get that. But jokes are jokes. And if people are making jokes in, like, let's say, I don't know, a Facebook page, a Discord server, a YouTube comment section. Just because these people are watching me and they're participating, is that a reflection of me?
Well, it depends on context, dude. Depends on the context. See, one of the things people, once again, when you talk about, for example, Count Dankula, okay, Count Dankula was accused of basically, what is it?
Hate speech.
Hate speech against the public, whatever. When in reality, context proves otherwise. All right. And context, context is important. Okay. Now, sometimes people miss context simply because they're not in on the joke. All right.
Oh no, they were in on the joke. They just didn't care.
Well, in his case, yes, I agree. All right. But I'm being more philosophical. All right. Sometimes people don't see that because they're not in on the joke. For example, when we talk about Nazi penguins, Okay.
Mhm.
All right. People don't get. There are many people that would hear that for the first time and never understand where it came from, or because it wasn't. They're not in on the joke. All right. So it has an odd context to it, right?
Mhm.
And that can be a part of it as well. But if you're talking about fairness, okay, is it fair to sit up there and look at who somebody hangs out with, and say, okay, is this somebody I want to associate with or not? To be honest, in that context, I would say yes. That doesn't mean you're doing anything illegal, but you are going to be judged that way because that's just how humans are.
Agreed. Unfortunately, he is correct.
What about when that extends to law enforcement? Because your dad went to prison and your brother went to juvie. Now the cops are watching you. Is that fair? Is that profiling?
It is profiling, but it's fair.
Elaborate, because I'm of a different opinion, but I want to hear how you came to that.
As long as they're not arresting you for crimes you didn't commit, then they're doing their jobs. The fact is that if you're coming from a family that has a history of criminal activity, then yes, they're going to be more suspicious of you and they're going to watch you closer. And it is perfectly understandable and fair. Why? Because people that have a criminal record, their family members also have a much higher percentage of them also will have criminal records and will also commit the same type of crimes. You can't just ignore that.
Or say you come from a bad side of town, you're more likely to be watched.
No, see,
just let me finish. You are more likely to be watched than those that don't live in the bad side of town.
I don't like the wrong side of the tracks argument. I don't like this fact that just because you're poor, you're more prone to crime.
I did not say that it's the influence. It's the influence.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Shorty. I'm sorry for not interrupting. You may not like that attitude, okay? But the reality is, all right, from a statistical standpoint, it fits.
Melissa, I'm not saying that by association.
Wait a minute. The statistics do not bear that out. They are a self-fulfilling prophecy because if you watch one area more, then you'll catch more crime.
That's complete nonsensical. They attempted that philosophy. Let me tell you. I'll tell you why I'm saying it's nonsensical.
I'm watching one end of town. I'm not watching the other.
And I will tell you why. If you sit up there and put the same number of cops in the good area, in the quote unquote good area of town, you are not going to catch as many criminals as if you quote unquote put it to the bad area of town.
Great title. I definitely need my whiskey.
Okay. Here's the damn thing, though, MC. If you're watching one area, not watching the other, you're gonna catch the people in the area you're watching. No, and on the other hand, there's a thing called white-collar crime, sir. People in the good side of town are criminals too, brother.
No. You can
shut up, sorority. Damn it, you keep interrupting me.
Yes. You can watch both sides of town.
Yes, you can.
That is not at all what I was saying, that you cannot watch one side and not watch the other. I was not saying just keep your eye on just the bad side of town. Okay? I was not saying, you grew up.
Real quick, I want MC to go ahead because he's got a rant and you keep cutting him off. But I'm gonna read the chat real quick. Ace of Skulls is trying to fucking set me off. He really is. What's your opinion on stop and frisk, dude? Do you want me to get started on stop and frisk? How unconstitutional and fucking bullshit it is?
Not unconstitutional. All right. You can say, Madon, did stop and frisk go in front of the Supreme Court?
Did they show a fucking warrant?
Excuse me, did it go in front of the Supreme Court? Yes, it did. Was it considered constitutional? Yes, it was. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean you get to decide what the Constitution is.
Correct.
It doesn't matter. You don't get to decide that. Judges do. Accept that.
No. And you're the one railing against the Supreme Court every other day, MC.
I do say the Supreme Court makes the bad decisions. But you know what? You still have to follow the law.
Roe v. Wade? You want to follow that? Let's follow that to the grave.
You still okay. Well, how are you going to prevent enact an anti-Roe v. Wade thing? What do you plan on doing? Going into an abortion clinic and shooting people?
Constitutional amendment.
Okay, so where's your constitutional amendment? Where's that at? Show me where that's moving through any legislature anywhere in the country, please.
No, because they're too scared to fucking take it up. They're
bitching. Look, you have to sit up there and deal with the fact that whether we like it or not, the Constitution sets the Supreme Court to make those judgments. And just because the judgment goes against you doesn't mean you've got the right to then turn around and go, well, I don't like that judgment, I'll just ignore it.
Stop and frisk. Where did they enact it? New York? Who did they target? The African American community?
No, they targeted specific areas, all right, where it needed to go. Were they predominantly in an area with a heavy minority population? Yes, they were. Now, let's go back to that first thing that you were saying way back at the beginning, where you sit up there and said, oh, no, you'll catch just as many criminals. No, you won't. The idea
because they're not embezzling money. Because there's no such thing as white collar crime.
I didn't say there wasn't anything as such as white collar crime, but do you think that only white people commit white collar crime?
Did I say that the bad?
White collar crime is not. Let me explain something to you. White collar crime.
I didn't say the bad part of town was the ghettos, sir.
Okay, the white collar crime is not nearly as devastating to society, which is why white collar crime tends to have lesser sentences.
That's right? White collar crime. You're stealing people. Okay, a lot of times it's Ponzi schemes and embezzlement. You're stealing people's fortunes. You're stealing their fucking sweat from their brow. How is that not bad? How is that?
I didn't say it wasn't bad. I didn't say it wasn't criminal. Okay, I said it wasn't as dangerous to society overall as violent crime is. That's my point. Okay? And when you start talking about some of these areas in New York City, they took that philosophy of yours of we'll just ignore these little crimes in this area and we won't go around arresting people. And what happened? The murder rate shot way the hell up. And then who came in? Giuliani came in and he said, no, you prosecute.
Giuliani came in and started fucking with people for spitting on the sidewalk.
And what was the result? What was the murder rate? How many murders started happening in New York as a result of that?
Yeah, because they caught him on fucking crimes like spitting your gum out on the sidewalk. Are you fucking with me,
okay,
dude?
so wait a minute here. You're telling me that because that these guys were just spitting gum out of there, it reduced the murder rate or the number of murders from over 2,000 a year to under 800. And
he was arresting everybody and their fucking dog.
He was not arresting everybody and their friggin' dog. Okay, this is a bunch of crap. And he was holding people accountable to the law. If you don't like something, change the law. You don't go around going, well, I don't like the law, let's just ignore it. That's
Dude,
your
you realize I'm related to Pretty Boy Floyd. I don't like
care if you're related to Pretty Boy Floyd.
Fuck with me. You know, guilt by association right there, buddy. No.
If I go back far enough, I can sit up there and show you ancestors that were committing mass murder in my lineage. That's why they were chased away out of country. So what the hell?
Somebody's related to Hitler. Anyway, moving on.
Not related to Hitler, no.
I'm fucking with you, MC. I'm sorry. We're getting a little, like, I'm in a good mood today, too, but we're getting a little hyphy here. All right. Giuliani cracked down majorly, and I believe what he did was overstepping the lines. What
he did was clean up the city. And you going back saying, well, I think he was overstepping the lines. Guess what? In court, he won those court cases, and they said he wasn't overstepping the line.
Well, that dead air was there because I was trying to think, how do you on one hand say the Supreme Court has too much fucking power, and on the other, back them up at every fucking turn?
I back them up with when you have to deal with the fact that they make rulings, and you have to live by those rulings. And the other thing that you have to look at is what's the result? The result of lessening crime throughout New York, where people were finally able to go in walk around safely throughout New York, was somehow a devastating thing because, well, people got arrested.
No,
how dare they get arrested
for violating their civil rights? You can't.
They weren't violating their civil rights. They were breaking the law, and it's only you. It's only you who believes. Let me tell you right now, it's only you and others like you that want to sit up there and say, I am my own court, okay, who believe that they were violating the civil rights. Because when it went to the courts, which adjudicates whether or not your civil rights were actually being violated or not, they sided with him.
Okay, stop and frisk. You're walking down the sidewalk. You just went to Subway. Cop rolls up, throws you against the wall and searches you. Where's your fucking warrant, motherfucker? Where's your probable cause?
Once again, if that's the case where they do something like that, you can redress it in the courts. And guess what? In some cases, they've turned out that the police were overreacting. But that's not what stop and frisk was either. Stop and frisk wasn't they just pulled up and said, wait a minute, let's go get this guy and harass him. That's bull crap. And it doesn't happen that way all that often. Has it happened? Yes. Is it happening all the time? No.
And who were they stopping and frisking, MC?
They were generally
was it the businessman from Wall Street, or was it the guy?
They were generally stopping. Well, let me ask us another question. What would they be looking for from the guy who looks like he's coming off of Wall Street?
Gangsters wear suits too, my friend.
Yeah, some gangsters do wear suits, and they follow them as well. If they're part of it, if they have an Italian name and they're part of the sanitation companies, you can bet that they're probably looked at more than you and me are.
It doesn't make it right.
It does make it. It doesn't make it wrong. Okay, the reality is.
It's not right and it's wrong.
Not wrong because you want to say it is, Mad Dodge.
Now, it's not right because you want to say it is, MC.
I'm not the one saying it is. Whether you like it or not, the Supreme Court has said this. The courts have said it isn't.
And who made them God emperors?
The Constitution.
Ridiculous.
Well, you can call it ridiculous all you want. You either obey the Constitution, you either uphold it as the law of the land, even when it works against you, Mad Dodge, all right? Or then you might as well just throw it out the window and do whatever the hell you feel like.
Oh, so the southern states weren't wrong when they were using the Constitution as a shield.
No.
Oh, God.
You mean that when were the southern states using it as a shield? Not when they were trying to break it.
That's what they were saying in the 1850s, my friend. But I digress.
In the 1850s, I didn't have a problem with the Southern cars, did I?
You don't like Calhoun very much.
Calhoun was an ass, and he continued to be an ass.
Calhoun was a genius, and he continued to be a genius.
No, Calhoun was an ass and remained an ass his entire life. Everybody hated Calhoun, and there was a reason, because he was a dick.
Question, please.
I'm a dick, and I'm still right.
No, okay, prove my point. Thank you. What's your question,
please? Thank you. This Calhoun guy, is that the bloke who beat the living snot out of the other guy with a stick?
No.
No, he's not that cool.
Okay, cool.
Calhoun had already died at that point.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to ask.
No, he brought up the idea of nullification, which I'm still a fan of nullification. It's the idea where a state can nullify a federal law, i.e., the marijuana laws on the West Coast.
And how was that? And how was that adjudicated?
I don't. Hey, how is that not?
How was it adjudicated? He made that case. He made that case. That case was brought up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said what? Oh no, that you can't do that.
But we are. But we
You're
are.
not.
But we are.
No, you're not.
We are.
You're not.
How are we? We have distribution centers. We have marijuana.
And anytime the federal government wants to crack that, and anytime the federal government, because you've given them the power to it, all right, it wants to, they can crack down.
I don't see them. They're not knocking on my door.
Not
Hello,
today.
federal government.
Not
Anywhere?
Not today. They're not. What about tomorrow? What about a week from now? What about 6 years from now when the climate is different about it? You've already given them the power. You haven't taken that power away from them.
You gave them the power. You did. Your generation did, not mine. We spent an entire generation fighting that power.
That power was given to them before my generation, dude.
All right, let's calm down a little bit. Jensen, back to guilt by association. Was there ever a moment in your life where just because your friend was messing up, you got in trouble too?
No, usually it was me causing most of the trouble. But yeah, as we've gone back to that guilt by association thing, are you really sure you want me to open my mouth here, Dodge? Because you're not necessarily going to like what I say. Your choice, dude, you know. The reason I make this point is I believe that there was a guilt by association connection between, let's see, Queen of the South and Scooby. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about the young lady. She is dead, after all. But a lot of people were suggesting that she was all manner of evil because of the people she was hanging around with. Now, your argument in and of itself is literally counter to everything that happened based on her joining the group. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. And how that all played out, looking back, is a little bit distasteful. I will not remove the video though, and it is what it is. But you're right. She did get lumped in to guilt by association because Scooby's a cunt. We tarnished her with being a cunt, right?
That was my point. I'm not actually trying to, directly have a go at you here. I'm just pointing out there is a certain amount of hypocrisy in what you're saying based on actions you did. That's all.
Fair enough, sir.
Excuse me. What did I do?
No, he's talking to me.
Well, you do what you gotta do. I didn't like her because I didn't fucking like her.
I don't actually have a problem with that. You chose to not like her. You didn't prejudge her because of the people she was hanging around with. Now, if you were judging her because of the people she was hanging around with, then you are just as much of a hypocrite as Dodge.
No, because she argues on the same side that I do. That you do get catch hell for who you hang out with.
Agreed. Oh no, see, my argument is actually against Dodge.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not actually got a problem with how you guys do it. It's just merely the fact that if someone is going to sit there and say that doing X is wrong, and then someone casually reminds them about themselves doing X, I just want him to think about what he's saying.
Have self-awareness.
I will.
Have self-awareness.
I will point out if somebody can point out that if at some point I did make that argument after she died, I'm making that argument that if I made that argument at all after she died, and I was brutal at all.
Well, okay. Is there something wrong with necessarily being brutal?
Well, here's the thing, though.
It's just not kosher.
A little bit. Let me defend myself a little bit here, Jensen. Okay, you're allowed to make mistakes.
Agreed.
Stop. There we go. That's it.
No, okay, cool. It's probably better that I said it to you than someone, shall we say, less diplomatic than me could have said it in the chat, and it could have gone horribly wrong. So I thought I'd try and put it as politely as I could while still making it very, very clear.
It's all good. No, you're making a point because we did lump her in with that crowd. Now, there was also other circumstances. The fact that she lumped herself in with that crowd verbally by defending them, by saying she wasn't going to stop hanging out with them, by saying they did nothing wrong. I'm not necessarily a complete hypocrite, but I don't really want to have the argument when it comes to Sarah. I just kind of want to let her rest in peace.
Oh, yes, I totally understand. That's why I've tried to put it this way rather than directly having to go directly at you, sir. I just thought if you're going to argue against something, it should be mentioned when you have directly said something. But now that you've explained it, I've got no argument with it, mate. Please carry on.
Well, yeah, no, and I'm looking at the chat here. We got Creepy Little Book in there. What's up, Pete? How you doing? We got Ryan, Melissa. Haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? Carl's up in there. He says, "Hey, Mad Dodge, he that lieth with dogs wakes up with fleas." Benjamin Franklin, very good quote. I know that one.
Oh, God, I'm gonna kick you, Carl. I swear to God.
No, that is a good quote. It's just okay. Benjamin Franklin goes in front of Parliament. He gets lambasted for over an hour about stuff he didn't even do. He walks in a British citizen. He walks out a rebel. What, he lumped into guilt by association because he was American?
Was he? Yeah, obviously.
Well, he woke up with some fleas then, didn't he?
Okay, so you're proving my point. What exactly are you trying to say?
That it's not right. That it's wrong.
What do you mean? It's not. Okay. There's another thing that I often wonder about with you guys, which is whether it's right or wrong. The situation is what it is.
There's a thing called morality, MC. I don't know if you've heard of it.
There's also something called reality. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Oh, fair enough. We're gonna go back and forth today. I like this. This is gonna be fun.
All right. I mean, it's not. You can talk about fairness. You can talk about all these concepts all you want, but there is such a thing as an objective reality, and these things, it is what it goes back to. It is what it is. Okay. Well, you have to live with the way things are. It's not the way you may not want it to be that way. Okay, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, and once again, looking at the chat, Tema's up in there. How you doing, Tema? Ace says, you guys are arguing morals versus legal standards. Yeah, but shouldn't the legality reflect the morality?
No, not always.
Tema says, oh, you read that already.
Yeah, no, why not? I believe it should. Your laws should reflect your morals.
Wish in one hand, okay.
Shit in the other.
Just because you want that to happen, just because you want that to be that way, doesn't mean that it'll ever be that way. It never has been that way.
But aren't we a representative republic? Where's my representation? Where's my yeah.
Okay, you're a representative republic. What difference does that make?
I want to be represented. I want the laws to represent my
represented.
The laws do represent things, but once again, just because when people outvote you in a representative environment, okay, then you lose.
What do you want to be represented as?
Attack helicopter. But no, I digress. Okay.
Get your ass in here, Tema.
The morality of the society should reflect the legal side of said society.
It's not going to be a one. It's not going to be a one-to-one reflection. It never will be. It can't be.
I've wanted her in here since before we started, Carl. I want you in here too.
So
Memes belongs in here too. So fucking MC has someone else to kick on.
No, Mad. No. Your society should never reflect your morality. It should reflect your ethics. Morality fluxes and changes based on feelings and perceptions. Ethics is something you can Socratically walk through and determine things in a flat, precise manner. Sweetheart, what the fuck are you talking about? And how dare you boys use the word fairness like it's actually a thing?
Oh, I feel like honey.
Like Tema just stabbed me in the back.
Oh, I love you, Tema.
Tema has one small little aspect of things, which is she understands there's something called reality.
Hi, honey. Oh my God, this is gonna be fun. I only have a little bit of time too. Damn it. Okay.
It's the Ides of March. I'm
On the 22nd.
And to Tema.
I'm in shock. Somebody go ahead.
Well, Memes is here. Memes is here to save you. You're in good hands.
And Jez says, "Hello there, Dodge." And
hey guys,
MC.
what's going on?
Tema.
Steve. Somebody back
Speaking
me
of
up,
the Ides of
damn it.
March.
Why?
Okay.
Speaking
So
of the-
no.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! Right, Memes? Right? Oh my God!
Are you, Memes, are you gonna play? Are you gonna play Mark Anthony or are you gonna play Kato?
What exactly was the Ides of March again? Before I complete my statement.
Caesar's death.
All right. So speaking of the Ides of March, it's been actually just over 10 years now since I think I made my first YouTube video, and I had lost the account because it was before the whole Google bought everything. So we just associate with your Gmail, and I had forgotten the password until the other day where I remembered the password. Except I recovered it on another email.
All right, so I patched up the knife wound in the back.
Okay, son. No, sir. No, sir. You want to call yourself a libertarian, and you think the word fairness exists?
So what were we arguing about before?
Fairness.
Let Tema go.
Hold on.
We'll let Tema finish, and then we'll.
Hold on. I've got a rational process here, and I want to know how Matt is going to justify his political and philosophical position. How is it you can say that fairness and morality are things that you can discuss and put into terms of legislation? Oh, Memes, come back. In terms of legislation and such things, when there is no way to create an objective list of what those terms mean for the entirety of a society.
You bring it down to the local level and you use local.
No, sir.
And local laws.
Okay. In California, it will be illegal to drop an N-bomb. You will have to pay a lot of money. However, it will be legal for somebody who is of a non-white color to take their shit. No, if you do that, you end up with something that is very dangerously close to anarchism.
I think you're taking my argument a little bit further than where I was going.
Just having the concept of fairness. There's no such thing as fairness. Now, if you want to talk about equality, equity, and justice, we can do that. But fairness is a myth that we try to tell our kids to shut them up.
The idea, what I'm talking about is guilt by association. The idea that because, Tema, you talk to me and I might say something edgy, that makes you a bad person as well. And the fact that you can be stopped, frisked, and searched because maybe you might live on the wrong side of town.
Okay, and that comes from living on the wrong side of town.
That comes from living on the wrong side of town. Like you get to choose where you live.
Yeah, you generally you do in this country. Yeah,
what? Mad? How many states have I lived in? How many states have you lived in? You what?
Who gets to choose where they're born?
Yeah, no. Like you live in the best possible place you can live for what you can afford.
Yeah.
And then as you move up, you can move up and move somewhere else. But if you're born very poor and maybe
Say that to a homeless person.
and maybe of a different pigment than I am, and you're stuck in a housing project and getting searched
Really?
by cops every day, maybe you're not necessarily gonna fucking like the cop.
All right. First of all,
Okay, I'm not
you
okay.
just
Hold on, I'll
slandered
be
the
right
cops
back.
saying that these people are being stopped every single day when you know that isn't true. Okay, and it never has been true. It's just an excuse that gets made to justify the viewpoint, and it gets overused to the point with what you're dealing with right now, which is a good part of the problem. Yes, if you're in the wrong side of town, regardless of your skin color, all right, you are going to be looked upon askance. Okay?
Here. No, I have the perfect I have a perfect anecdote and explanation for what's going on here. And I see what he's saying, but he's wrong. I agree with you, MC. I have something, but I have dreadlocks. Do you know that I get stopped and questioned by cops in Texas more often than black people?
Isn't that profiling then? That would be a bad
Do
thing.
you think I care?
I do.
I don't.
I
No,
do.
here's why.
The stupid
Here's why.
fucking cop in my school where I went to high school knew me, didn't like me, and stopped me for fucking 30 years of my goddamn life. Yeah, I don't fucking like being stopped randomly for no goddamn reason.
They weren't stopping you for no freaking reason, and you know it. You may never have been caught doing it, but you weren't getting stopped for no reason.
All right.
Okay, and that was the thing. Okay, I was getting stopped because the very, 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 very vast majority of people with dreadlocks, especially white people with dreadlocks, are druggies that are doing illegal shit. I just happen to be like a person that lives in a state where it's legal for me to smoke pot, and that's the only thing I do that's close to illegal or unlawful, because illegal is a sick bird. It's about maintaining law and order. Do you want rules, or do you want to feel better about being broke?
No. All right. Here's the thing. MC is referring to my previous career as a proprietor of flowers. But the thing is that the worst thing on earth? Should you be stopping me every day?
Whether you think it's the worst thing on earth or not, there is something called the law that gets applied to you.
Man, you lived in a smallish area, fairly small town area. You were committing felonies. They're going to harass you.
Away with it, by the way.
And you got away with it. They're going to harass you. These people are into law enforcement. Law enforcement.
Have you ever seen the show House?
Yes, I love that show.
Now and of course it's completed now. And
Are you
to be honest, there's aspect to House
doctor?
that yes, where the doctor is a jerk. Well, he is an addict in pills, right? And the police officer, all right, at one point decides, okay, I'm going to investigate you and I'm going to put you in jail, all right, because you're committing crimes. And he was committing crimes, serious crimes, actually. Okay.
Yes.
Now he made the statement, I may not catch you today, but you won't stop. So as long as and because of that, I know eventually I will catch you. And that's what you're dealing with right now when you're dealing with these cops. Now, you decided to go, you know what? I am going to stop. I am going to stop being this way, which is why you, quote unquote, got away with it. If you would have stayed in that lifestyle, if you'd have stayed down that road, eventually you would have been caught. That's how police officers deal with these things. Like, for example, if you get pulled over on the road, police officers will pull you over. They're giving you a ticket because you were speeding. And then you see somebody fly by going about 5 times what you were doing. And you look at the cop and go, why aren't you chasing him? So, well, here's your ticket. And, I've got to finish up with what I'm doing here. Why won't you chase them? Well, because eventually with their speeding like that, I will catch them some other time. They can't catch everybody, but they will go after the people they can. And they will always be looking. Why? That's their job to always be looking.
Well, you don't
It's
want to
kinda
like
called
pursue somebody
vigilance.
who causes like a dangerous situation unless like if they're just speeding and they go, it's like
No, I get what you're saying.
radios are faster than any car.
I mean, you wanna put me on trial here? All right, yeah, sold weed 10 years. It's
Putting you
illegal
on
in Oregon.
trial. I'm trying to use you as a sounding
10
board.
years.
Yeah.
10 years they didn't catch me. You think if I would have won another 5, they would have caught me? I doubt it.
Oh, wait a second.
You could have gone another
Is that
day
why
and
you're a
gotten
libertarian?
I love his arrogance. Oh, I was untouchable. It's you should run for Congress. You've got the right attitude, man, Dodge.
Yeah, see?
And that's Nancy Pelosi.
He practiced what he preached.
Oh, that was
Well,
low.
you know, he
You
does
have her
think that
arrogance.
fair is a thing, so
Well, you just need to be.
I
being
thought
out
that
there.
might get to you.
I want to be another Rand Paul. That way MC could yell about me on the internet.
oh my god, you
That'd
want to
be
be a
great.
Rand Paul
He
that
already
you're
does.
talking about fairness, Mad?
He'd make more money though.
What I'm talking about is guilt by association. The fact that I have certain friends that might say certain things doesn't necessarily make
Notice
me
the words you use. It's not guilt by association. All right. No one's putting you in jail for your association. What they're doing is you're getting investigated because of it. You're getting heightened scrutiny because of it. It's not guilt, it's scrutiny. Do you think that the police should never investigate anybody? That all they should do is just go in there, arrest people, and that's their investigation?
Of course not, MC. I'm not a fucking retard, dude. I just
Then stop acting like memes.
What?
Ow.
I'm sorry, Beebs. You were just
I
there.
know. No,
Just
actually,
do
this
anything.
show is like usually I sound pretty conservative. This show is making me sound like a fucking Democrat. I can hear it.
Well,
you're like
you went
Ben Capistan
around
kind of thing
selling
here.
an item that has been deemed a Class A narcotic by the FDA or whatever enforcement agency it is, and so you were breaking the law, and now in your state it is currently legal.
Yes.
Which means I should have stayed in the business because I'd probably have a license right
It's
now.
not legal. He could still go to jail, and
Oh,
at any point in
federally,
time, the federal government can still come in there and keep
Where
telling
are
people this.
they? Bring them on, MC. Every house in
Do
Oregon.
you think they're stupid? They're gonna wait. They're gonna
Try
wait
it,
and
dude.
bide their
Try it.
time to where they've amassed even more power because people like you are like, I'm untouchable, and then they're gonna come in with the jackboots.
Execute Order 420.
Okay, but you guys are acting like, did you guys forget there was the judge that
Actually, surprisingly,
signed a
President
warrant?
Obama did go after some folks, although the individual he went after was promoting via, I believe, the internet and the YouTubes, and some of his videos were a little bit risque, and
they also like to raid the dispensaries in California, but they don't touch Oregon, Washington, Colorado. How many more states are there? Alaska, New Mexico. It seems to keep growing, MC.
Wait.
You're gonna need. Hey, no, wait, shut up. You're gonna need a bigger police force, my friend.
All you need to do is amass the power where you can send in the military.
They've already done it. Do you realize there's a judge that's signed an arrest warrant
Do you think
or
it's wise to send in the military to snag a whole shit ton of joint stuffs?
Hold on. Go on.
Okay, so they employed the National Guard to serve a search warrant on the county of Humboldt in the 90s under Janet Reno. Where did memes go?
Maybe he's having internet problems.
Sometimes he gets bounced out. He'll be back.
I don't think he can hear you, Tema. He's been having issues the last couple days, so I don't think he can hear you, and that's why he kept talking over you. That's why I tried to butt in there for a second. See, yeah, he's back now.
Hi,
so
memes.
that's probably what's going on.
Say something, Tema.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Can you hear memes? Memes, can you hear it, Tema?
Nope, he can't hear me. Uh-oh.
Wow,
That's
that's
weird.
weird. It fixed yesterday just by him F5ing. That's weird. I don't know what's going on with Google, They picked up that new video game thing that they're gonna do. I wonder if that's fucking with Hangouts.
Well, no, remember they're phasing out Hangouts. So they aren't doing anything. Sorry, can you hear
I
me
think
now?
Google is trolling Apple right now because I don't have any updates I need to install. Hold on, let me triple check.
Anyway, let's go back to beating on Mad Dodge.
Well, I still want to know why you guys are using words like morality and fairness. It's like you guys have never read a stitch or a drop of ink or anything written, uttered, thought about, or conceived of by the founding fathers.
Well, no, I agree with you there.
You know that's not
fairness
true.
fairness
Emma.
is
Damn
not.
well, that's not true.
No, but she's got a point about fairness. But the reason we were bringing it up is because of this topic. There's a difference between being held legally accountable, and this is what Ace was saying as well, versus being investigated. And you don't want to be investigated. Well, like it or not, you're going to get investigated.
What? Why? Why am I going to get investigated? Are you investigated?
You got put on a list.
Why? Because
always a
you're in a
list.
situation where statistically, okay, you were going to be committing that crime more than me.
Oh, and we're down into predictive algorithms.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but when you're talking about
I think you're
investigations, that's what you do, is you
It's
use
because my
predictive
last name is
algorithms
Irish.
like that to decide
My
how
last name's Irish. I got you. All right, you're a racist. No.
I'm a racist because I'm
Yeah.
going after you because you're Irish. Is that what you're
Yep,
saying?
you hate Irish people.
MC, you
Have I
you-
ever threatened Ireland with a rock?
No,
No.
actually.
No, he's threatening
Wait, hold on.
voice, that's
Depending
what
on the size, you have threatened London, I believe.
Have you,
I have not been-
I think
I
you
have not
threatened
threatened-
voice at one point.
I don't think I've ever. I did threaten voice once, but that
So,
was
yes.
that was him specifically, not the entire
Voice.
island.
So a tiny pebble.
Okay.
Oh my god, I need a studio, guys. I'm sitting here trying to do my show, and my freaking twins are over there howling on the couch right next to me.
Oh,
It's like,
I've known that from
I
day one.
never, until I was a parent, I never thought I had to utter the word "stop howling."
I found out today that my landlord has dealt with complaints about my language and volume of my voice from last summer.
Oh,
Oh, really? When you from you doing your show or something?
Yeah.
oh. Well, you're
Whatever.
just loud.
Well, yeah. So apparently, yeah. They don't really care. They tell people to pound sand when they're complaining about offensiveness here. So, yay.
Whoa, are you in the one good apartment complex in Beaverton?
Well, dude, I was shitting bricks. I was reading our lease, and it's California, very San Francisco worded. There's things like, you are not allowed to be offensive in any way to the staff. And it's like, how do you determine that?
No,
You're not allowed to be obnoxious or loud in a public space.
You know what's funny? My the people that own the park, right? They make the renters their rental agreement is different than mine, obviously, because I own my house. But they actually don't want guns on the property, and I'm like, there is this thing called the Second Amendment. Good luck stopping us.
Yeah.
And there's a mountain lion in the backyard.
Yeah, it's very California. Like they have California statutes for where you can stand to smoke and things like that. And I'm like, Oregon has very specific rules about doing that. And it's a big fat no-no and can cost you a lot of money that goes directly to the tenant, not the government. So you might not want to do that. I was just letting them know. After I read all the rules, I was like, oh shit. Like, wow. Oregon really doesn't want outside influence fucking with how they do things.
Carl in the chat says he was on a list.
Yeah, because he knew what LSD stood for.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I needed a job, right? I had no job. And the census was coming around. I'm like, fuck, whatever. It's a temp job. Why not? I passed the interview. I go through the thing, and I get a thing in the mail. It says, hey, We regret to inform you that we cannot hire you due to the fact that you are on a list or have never signed up for the selective services. And I'm like, okay, I signed up for the selective services. What list am I on? Wait a minute.
They cushioned the blow because they gave you 2 possible options.
Yeah, but I know I signed up for the draft, dude. I did it at 18. Every man does.
But they may not have had the record of it. Believe it or not, they came looking for me for signing up for the draft when I was in the military.
That
Yes, I'm
doesn't
serious.
surprise me.
I got a notice of that, and I sent back going, seeing as I'm currently on active duty, what do you expect me to do? And I never heard back from them.
Did you sign up, MC,
Yes, I did.
for the selective service?
Everybody does. You have
Okay, no, I
to.
wasn't sure if he enlisted before they had that.
No.
Every male does.
Well, I know. We
Every
did
male
that
when you
in-
turn 18.
Yeah, they
you
gave
have
us a
to
period
sign
or 2. Yeah, they did like the ASVAB and shit.
Oh, dude, I rocked that ASVAB test, man. I'm telling you, dude. They handed me, like, all my friends got, like, 5 pages. I got a fucking novel back. They're like, hey, you want to be a JAG officer? How about a helicopter pilot?
I could
How
just
about
see
this?
you
How
as
about
a
that?
JAG
Like,
officer.
oh,
That's almost frightening, the fact that they offered you JAG.
It sounds like it's out of a movie
that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
or a TV show.
I got really high ranking too, but the only thing I wanted to do was go into demolitions and explosives, and none of the branches would allow women into demolitions and explosives.
Nope.
That
That's
sucks.
true.
Wait, have they opened up the roles?
No,
What?
no, women can't. No, I wouldn't agree to it. Now that I'm older and I have like half a brain on my head instead of being 17 and
we have
retarded.
combat roles now for gals.
Okay, there
There's
are some
combat-
combat roles that I guess we.
But
could
we
put
don't let
women
them
in.
play with bombs.
What?
Do
I
you
don't.
want to give a
That
woman a
sounded
bomb?
terrible. What?
Well,
I don't want to give my wife a bomb. She throws
That's
shit
the
at me all
thing.
the time. Like,
I mean, as long as you
fuck
don't
that.
have like a restriction like that color blindness thing that like Cabby has and shit. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Color blindness is an issue too. I mean that there are.
No,
there
but as
are
long as you
things for that.
qualify, as long as you can do the job.
No,
you know what I was-
okay. Does color blindness affect your job? That's a good question. In the job that I was assigned in the military, where you had to read like resistor color codes, can I do the job if I'm colorblind?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be recommended.
What do you
no.
mean? The answer is
You
simply
know what's
no.
funny though? Like, first off, I want to know why you think it'd be scary for me to be a JAG officer. Second, though, my score, the highest score, was the helicopter test. But
Because
then again, I played video games all the time, and it was fucking that simulator. Was
why would it scare me for you to be a JAG officer? Because your view of the law is frightening.
I was gonna say you were using words like fair and morality earlier.
I like those words.
Not when you're doing legal stuff.
Oh, well, you haven't specified
what?
it as
I'm
few
gonna
words
fuck with
as
all
possible.
of you. I'm gonna fuck with all of you. I'm gonna get my history degree, and then I'm gonna transfer to law school and do constitutional law. Fuck you. Now it's on. Challenge.
And so birth another Barack Hussein Obama.
Oh,
Accept it.
The
Hey,
indoctrination has already gotten to him.
Down with
He's
that.
already lost. It looks like it's the helicopter ride for you.
No. It's all right, Matt. It's all right, Matt. By the time you become president, I mean you'll still have like hundreds of grand in student loans.
Hey, I can pay it
Oh,
off.
and unless Bernie becomes president, then you're set. There you go, Bernie 2020.
If you think Bernie's going to sit up there and give anybody anything, you're out of your mind.
Oh, he has to raise the money.
Well, he'll give you a bread line.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like he's just going
You
to
think
print
bread
all the
lines are
money.
good
I mean, that's-
things?
It's not a great idea.
Nothing.
Breadlines mean people are eating. Breadlines are an indication of wealth and prosperity for all. Ask him.
What?
Yeah.
Why don't we just simplify this? Like, okay, we got those EBT cards and stuff like that. All right, why don't you just have like, here's your state ID. It's tied in, so your federal benefits and shit. It just all goes on the card. And guess what? You can now have a photo ID to vote and shit like that, and use it for whatever purpose you want. Problem solved.
because they give those IDs to illegal
really-
aliens and other non-citizens, and you want them voting.
Okay,
What,
dude.
no.
No,
Well,
shut up,
you check the box.
Shut up.
What do you
It
mean
asks if
you
you're a
check the
citizen.
box?
It asks if you're a U.S. citizen when you go to
And they
DMV.
lie and they
God
check
damn it.
the box.
Well, we don't have ways to double
Name.
check or verify.
Name. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the dead votes. All right, you're gonna issue them a fucking card. You're gonna fucking do some necromancy. What the fuck is going on here, dude?
What? No,
you
White Bulger isn't
don't
with us anymore.
dude.
What are you talking about?
I have no idea. I don't even know where you guys are going.
No, I heard a bunch of words. I didn't hear a
Like-
question.
The dead voting, the fact that the voting rolls are being faked, and that literally they're using dead.
Well, no.
people's names.
What I'm saying is, if you have something that can account for benefits that a lot of folks that are more on the left kind of want, and a lot of folks more on the right want to verify that somebody is who they say they are when they're
But
voting
the
and
left
stuff like
doesn't
that.
want anyone verified.
What I'm saying is that sounds
No,
like a
Beams,
compromise to
you
me.
have to accept the fact that they want to cheat and they don't want people verified.
Okay, let us
Kinda like
let
the
us entertain
governor.
the idea that that is 100% true. How do they argue against it?
They sit up
Kinda
there
like-
and go, "It's racist if you don't do it. It's
We're-
because
we're
it'll
saving-
prevent
we're
people
saving
from
money.
voting."
We're
Even though
saving
that has
money.
been debunked time after time, and they go to their lefty little loony courts to get it overturned using a bogus study they basically pulled out of their ass, kind of like, oh, I don't know, the Piss dossier.
Well, no,
That seemed to be questionable from the start. That's why I think BuzzFeed was the only one to actually run with it, even though it seemed to be cited for a judge to issue certain edicts.
Can he not hear me or something? All right. Here's the thing. Even in Oregon, the governor has signed a bill to where we are now going to pay the postage for the mail-in ballots. Like, you're too lazy to even go drop off your ballot at a drop box, then you get free postage. You know why that is? Because the Democrats don't vote. They want to inflate the voting numbers. That's why. Like, you can't even put in the effort to drop it off at a drop box. I'm a goddamn libertarian. I'm going to lose every time, and I drop off my fucking ballot. You know what I mean?
And you've lost every time, haven't you?
MC. Yeah, throw salt on the wound. Go ahead, dude.
Always here to accommodate. No problem.
Well, I mean, if you don't like the way things are, man, you could always try to do something about it.
Now Beebs is sounding like me.
Wow.
I am kind of I have MC. You like to yell at me a lot, but I do like to listen to you because there is some wisdom there.
Some.
Yeah, I noticed that bit.
And the DJD shows in the chat. What's up, man? How you doing? All right. So I guess we kind of beat guilt by association to death. I did see a Tim Pool video. Facebook is dying and bringing BuzzFeed down with it. I saw the chat talking a little bit about BuzzFeed. Do you think Facebook is going to die?
Oh yeah.
Eventually, but it's not going to die soon. One of the advantages of Facebook is, whether anybody wants to admit this or not, it is highly profitable. All right, and it has data people desire. It has metadata that people want. Okay, so it is a desirable commodity, and people will continue to try and get it. Okay, so is Facebook going to die? Yeah, it will eventually, when it no longer can provide valuable data, and that will happen over time. But it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Well, unless Elizabeth Warren has anything to do about it.
Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas is not going to be able to do anything about anything. Let's be perfectly honest here, Beams.
You don't think so?
No. And I don't think she's serious anyway.
Okay.
Do you think any of the Democrats have a chance to take out Trump?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a long ways to go. I'm not like a lot of people think that the Democrats have no chance with this stuff. All right. Because the American people, all right, are right now, everyone's talking about the election this, election that, and we're following it because, we're nerds in that regard. Okay. The rest of the American people, though, they're probably not paying much attention to it at all.
No, and they're big. Oh, let's go follow whatever's popular, like that. I don't
Beto.
know how much. Whatever. I don't know how much you people actually follow InfoWars, but I watched this short video of some girl who did an interview with a bunch of people on the street going, there's this guy, Beto O'Rourke, however you pronounce his name, who's running for president. Have you guys heard of him? And a bunch of people said, yes, immediately. We like him. And then she said, there's this other guy whose name is Robert Francis O'Rourke. And she named off all the bad things that he had just recently said that he did when he was a kid.
It's
the same.
They're like, she's like, he's also running for president. What do you guys think about him, or have you even heard of him? And they're like, never heard of him, but I don't think he's a very good person. After she got done talking to him, she's like, oh, by the way, he's the same guy. He just changed his name to sound more Hispanic to get Hispanic votes.
Oh, that's Hispanic? I thought it was Greek.
Well, you know what's actually overlooked a lot of times? The Hispanic vote is actually fairly conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people forget that.
Really?
It's not a guaranteed.
It's still not. It's not like the African American vote. I agree, but it's still heavily weighted in the favor of the Democrats. 60-30 or 60-40 is still
that's only because of the illegal vote. The actual citizens are voting more and more conservative. Look at places like San Diego in California. Highly conservative.
Even if it's the illegal vote, it's still there. It still exists.
Tema, you know what I'm saying, right? Like San Diego is actually quite fucking.
Here's how it goes for voting with, especially Mexicans or South American Latino. We'll say Latin American immigrants, legal or otherwise, that vote. By generations, they start out incredibly liberal. By the first generation is usually very open and liberal about policy. Second to third generation get more and more conservative, meaning more and more social. By the third to fourth generation of people that are from legal or otherwise immigrants, you will see a very, very strong swing towards conservatism.
Well, yeah, and their family values and stuff like that, they're anti-abortion. They're Catholic.
If you look at Latin America is dominated by Roman Catholic or Spanish Catholic values and morality. They have a strong intolerance for homosexuality as well.
Well, no, and the thing is, like, I don't see why the right hasn't embraced the Hispanic vote and tried to garner more.
Because they don't need to.
Why? Because of the white American vote?
No.
I don't vote conservative. I'm a libertarian.
No. Because they don't need to. They're already going there naturally. They don't have to outreach.
Well, the other reason is let's be perfectly frank. What has the press done to anybody that's quote unquote conservative? They're bigots, they're sexist, they're racist, they're homophobes. If they attempted to utilize the platforms of, well, we're like you, we don't necessarily like homosexuality, we don't necessarily like X, Y, or Z, they would be lambasted even more. Whether you like it or not, many of the Republicans are moral cowards.
Well, ultimately, MC, I think a lot of this goes to what you just said and you've said before, is we've had like pretty much 22 months of a lot of the media just completely bashing on the president.
Right. That's true. But the difference now is this president pushes back. Do you see Mitch McConnell constantly attacking the press? Do you see?
Wait. Has Mitch McConnell said anything at all? I haven't heard from him at all.
He's tweeted a couple of times.
He has tweeted a couple of times, but he's not doing what Trump's doing. Okay, he's not pushing back at every.
And Mitch is the leader of the Senate.
Oh, but
the only one who tweets as much as President Trump does is fucking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, and her tweets are then replayed again and again by the press, normally in some kind of glowing report.
Well, they do that with President Trump, usually not as glowing.
What do you mean usually not as glowing? It's never glowing.
Well, I haven't seen many instances.
What do you mean many instances? Because you can't find any.
I got a question. I got a question for the panel here. Did Lindsey Graham finally grow some balls, or is this all an act? Because I never liked this son of a bitch.
Lindsey Graham, I think, and I was talking to a friend of mine today about this about Lindsey Graham. All right, Lindsey Graham. He accused Lindsey Graham of being "quote unquote" a McCainite, right? That he was basically a cuck to McCain.
Well, they're friends.
And McCain died, and therefore he's acting on his own for the first time, et cetera. You know, yada yada yada. I don't think that's it. All right, I honestly think that Lindsey Graham thought he had a working relationship with certain Democrat senators. All right, and that got shattered with the Kavanaugh hearing. He wasn't a pro-Trump guy until after he said, "Wait a minute here, what's going on with this Kavanaugh thing?" And all of his supposed friends backstabbed him, and that's when his eyes started waking up, saying, "Okay, these guys are saying they're my friends, but in reality, they're not. People were right when they've been telling me this."
May I remind everybody that at that time, candidate Donald Trump doxed Lindsey Graham's personal cell phone number on national TV.
That was hilarious, by the way. But
that was when he was running as a candidate.
I said candidate Donald Trump.
Yeah, that wasn't.
He was also candidate Lindsey Graham. Do you remember that?
Was he at that time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he must have gotten a lot of messages.
But no, here's the thing, though. I have never bought into Lindsey Graham's fucking bullshit. I've never liked him. I see him as a fucking empty suit, to be honest. He just spits out rhetoric. But during the Kavanaugh hearing, I was like, wow, am I actually agreeing with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has been a lot different after the Kavanaugh hearings. You have to admit that.
Well,
the Kavanaugh hearings were a watershed moment. The Kavanaugh hearings were a watershed moment for him. I really do believe that he had his eyes opened about people like Schumer and people like Dianne Feinstein that he never believed before.
Oh, I think he just checked in on maybe an actual principle or something. If we're going to have due process, then due process. He
was believing all the crap about, well, they're my friends and they believe in the thing. He had the same problem. I'm going to be real blunt. He had the same problem George Bush had.
Reagan had the same problem, and it's a good thing he had Nancy.
Yes. To a large extent, you're correct, Atema.
What's the problem? That they'll just spout out and
that they believe in the best nature that the Democrats the Democrats in Washington, right, were like the Democrats in their states, and that they still believe in the nation and that they're doing what they believe is best for the nation. All right, that they will always do what's best for the nation. They won't. They go in with blinders on to say, I can work with these guys because we can find common ground on what we agree with, what's best for the nation. But the left in Washington doesn't give a damn about the nation. They only care about their own personal power and how they can sit up there and utilize it and brutalize their political opponents.
Well, that's why you hope for the best and plan for the worst.
Well, no, interesting. And I'm looking at the chat. Aunt Jack says, it was Aunt Jack. I think he was being blackmailed by McCain Could McCain have had dirt on Lindsey Graham? Maybe he had a mistress somewhere. I mean, this is the DC crowd, right?
Well, a mistress or a mister. Anyway,
Oh, so you did watch House of Cards?
okay. No, but no, I don't think that. I don't think that had anything to do with that. I think it. Could he have a mistress? Could he have had? Could he be? Trying to hide his sexuality? All right, possibly. But in today's environment, is that a negative? No. So there's no reason for him not to come out.
In the Republican Party and in South Carolina?
South Carolina, even in the Republican Party in South
Republicans
Carolina.
got a standing elevation at CPAC, thanks to Kennedy.
Yeah, really? You think a Republican senator coming out as gay and being out of the state of South Carolina won't impact his reelection?
There might be an impact.
It would have an impact. How much of an impact, though? I don't think he would necessarily lose. Right?
Well, at this point, he wouldn't. But if he had come out sooner, he would have lost. Like, if he had come out 10, 15 years ago, he'd have lost.
Well, 15 years? Well, maybe. I mean,
No,
South
he would've
Carolina
lost.
is a lot more, there's a lot more religious context that are added to it. All right. But but today, no, I don't think that he would have been impacted hardly at all. All right. In fact, many people he would probably get even more votes than what he's getting overall at the moment.
Could be. Yeah. No, I mean, here's the thing. It's not like it was 20 years ago. I mean, people, for the most part, don't really care. At least in the United States.
Go ahead. We're waiting for you, Mad Dodge.
Well, no, the kids are fighting over something stupid, a freaking toy or something. But no, even in South Carolina, though, that's a very conservative state, and it's very, deep south, for lack of a better term.
Well, no, I think because he has the status that he does now, but I think even 10 years ago, I don't think he could have made it. I think now, if he came out, he would be fine. But I think 10 years ago, it would.
I do love your accent.
I decided I'm going to stop worrying about what I sound like, whether I'm on stream or in public. Living in Washington was hard because you couldn't sound like you were from where you're from, and you couldn't talk the way you want to. And I'm done. I don't care.
Just gotta be
I
yourself.
do love your
Yeah.
accent.
Thank you.
No, it's funny. After yesterday's show, we tried to do the whole Cockney thing, and it kind of we digressed. But afterwards, I was
A bit.
watching a bunch of those videos, and it's funny how different accents are, and how it's just a slight move of the tongue that creates the different accents. I don't know. I like binge watched like 10 of these fucking videos last night.
Did you crack the code?
You
Yeah, kind of. Actually, I found one video that helped me crack the code. Yeah,
should watch Robin Williams.
I like the code, I guess.
Robin Williams live on Broadway, the New York one.
Which one?
Oh, live on Broadway from like 2000, 2001. No, I think it was 2005. He did a live show there, and he goes into, he's like, it's like talking to a Scotsman. And he's like, I'm not sure if that's what Cockney is, but I don't know. It was funny.
What? Just blah, 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 blah. No, that's not how this
No, that's
works.
not what Cockney is.
Cockney is basically what you more or less heard on My Fair Lady. All right,
Hello, Governor.
It's British gibberish.
You want some Rosie? Hey, Memes, you want some Rosie?
Rosie who? Does she have a pocket full of Posey?
Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want
I
some
like
Rosie?
tea.
See?
Aren't those poisonous?
That's the simplest one because they get weird.
Would you like some rose?
Well, they have idioms. Okay?
I like the way Thomas says it better.
They have idioms. Okay, that dog don't hunt is one of the southern idioms.
And as Jensen is laughing his ass off because
Yes.
he's
Yes, I am.
Jensen
my
knows how to
God.
do it.
the
Ow.
Americans are doing their damnedest to sound British, and
I'm going with what I was taught in drama class. That's all I could do. That's
I'm not going to
offended.
attempt it at all. So you can be safe with that.
I know, right? Yeah,
Thank you.
not even gonna try. There's no fucking way.
It's amusing as all hell.
Oh, I know. It's hilarious.
You know what I like? The favorite video I watched last night was the one where the chick had another an American chick there. So they did the American versus the British accent. And I'm like, oh my god, this is every day on YouTube for me. Like
If you really want to actually have a real fun time when it comes to accents, try and speak to a Glaswegian. Just try.
No.
Good answer.
Jen says in the chat, trouble and strife. That equals wife. I like that. I'm using that shit. Trouble and strife. That fits. Like,
And watch your wife smack the living shit out of you.
no, she throws. But anyway,
Shouldn't that be strubble?
No, just
No.
stop memes. Just stop.
No, you're right. It's strife.
do you want some Rosie? No, see, I can't do it. I shouldn't have even tried.
Apples
Don't you
and
want
pears.
some more? No.
Do you want some Rosie?
I think Tema's the best one here that's not a Brit. Jensen, show us how it's done.
Want a cup of Rosie?
I know that.
Means you might want to go and have a word with your dog and bone. It's making a lot of noise, mate.
Oh, I don't have a dog.
Oh dear God.
No.
Kid's phone. It's your phone. I get that one.
Oh, it's like over here. It's like you can get your khakis, and that could be either pants or the thing you drive your vehicle with.
You know, park the car, that kind of thing.
Park my car in Harvard Yard. You can't
Down
actually do
yonder?
that. Yeah, down yonder.
Or it's out there a ways?
Oh, dude, some of our towns just throw people for a loop. It's like Worcester. That's Worcester. It's like,
Worcester.
yeah,
Worcester.
it's like, how's that work? Or Haverhill.
How do you
It's
say
Haverhill.
rooster? It's
No,
rooster, you son of a bitch.
He's talking
and I'm
Worcester.
actually-
He's talking about a city.
MC, though.
Lauren, do you want to
We've
do
slightly
a favour?
infected him. He
Yeah, I want-
understands.
Yeah, I want any of y'all to translate. Yeah, I'm on out of here.
You're getting on out of here?
Okay, you kind
Yep, on
of
out here.
broke.
Get on out of here.
No, I want y'all to translate. Yep, out of here. Because
What-
Get up out of here.
What my
Yeah,
mom
just get up out of
always-
here.
Easy.
What my
Does this
mom
make us
always
all
said
racist?
was, get on out of here.
No, you
No.
get up out of here.
Get on out of here.
yep on out of here is not a racial thing. That is a southern.
It's
thing.
get up out of here.
It's get
Oh,
it's
you
get
get
up
up
on
outta
out of
here.
here, but it's yep on out of here.
Ace has been calling out statements as racist. He says
Boston accent.
Boston accents are the worst. I'm
That's
like,
not racism. That's bigotry. God, you guys need to get your.
Oh, Tema, you should do a show on words. You do
Why?
a show on words because people don't. We seem to be using the wrong words.
Because memes needs to expand his vocabulary.
I do. I have said publicly at an event we need better words. I would like to learn.
Okay, it's not that we need better words. We just need to keep the meanings that words already have.
Well, we need to communicate better.
No,
we
Alexa.
need to communicate better. Meme says so.
Alexa, delete yourself.
It just shut off.
Hey, that's mean.
It's just, why does it always do that? When we have great questions for it, it's like, fuck off.
It's because it's the Tema factor. I kill
It's like-
electronics.
It's like when you're
Oh
married.
no, it can't
trying to
even
get
hear
laid,
you.
and she
It
just
can't
rolls
even
over
hear
and
you,
goes,
honey.
"Fuck
I'm wearing
off."
headphones.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it can hear me or not, whether I'm using it or not. If I am in the vicinity of somebody near it, or if I am associated with it in any loose fashion, it will fucking break for some reason. If I'm
So basically, it's guilt by association because the temple
Yes.
was nearby. See?
And we're back on guilt by
even electronic
association.
equipment does it.
Did-
Does it?
Did you receive a blast from an Infinity Stone?
By the way, people, or more to the point, Americans, I'm actually going to make your life a little bit easier with a certain pronunciation I've noticed none of you seem to be able to do. Now, there's a word in England that is written
So
as
it's an
Shire.
English word.
It is written as Shire, but it is pronounced Sheer.
Share.
It absolutely kills me when you say Worcestershire.
Yeah, it's Shire.
I say
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Shire, damn it.
Yeah.
Don't fucking. It's aluminum.
Every American pronounces it different.
It's
You can-
Worcestershire because my grandmother is from Kentucky.
You can blame Steven Spielberg on that.
Worcestershire.
There's Worcestershire, there's Worcestershire, and Worcestershire.
There's
And
Worcestershire.
Now
Because
I don't
my
even know what
grandma's
it
from
is. I can't
Kentucky.
even
That's
say it
what she
now.
said. That's how everybody said it. She said it's because she's from Kentucky. And I said, okay. Or my grandfather, not my grandmother. I'm sorry. They're both. Yeah.
Worcestershire shot.
Worcestershire.
Do it now.
Worcestershire.
Worcester sauce. Oh, MC, does Worcester have any sauce? I don't know this. I should look it up.
That's Worcester sauce.
See?
Oh my goddamn ear.
Sorry.
Oh dear.
I prefer
No,
A1.
it's that ear that wants to pop and got that really loud fucking ringing noise that I was telling you about the other day.
Yeah, you need to like have somebody look at that. It kind of sounds like you have pressure on your eardrum.
Either that or tinnitus.
Oh my god.
Is it painful?
But no, it's
I
Shire.
have. I had my neurologist look at it, and they said that it is not neurological. So, next stop is the doctor. My family doctor and my husband told me that I should listen to you. So he told me that I need to have my
Do
family
that.
doctor
Yeah, Jensen.
suggest an ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Yeah, Jensen. We're headed down to the Shire. All right.
Okay.
That's the funny thing. Shire is its own word, but when you're pronouncing it for the name of an area, it's actually pronounced sheer. That's all.
Well, it's like sauce or source.
Yeah, but they put extra letters in aluminum.
Yeah. What is with this aluminium? Like
Aluminium?
What the fuck wrong with
Aluminium.
I can't even say it wrong.
Aluminium. You don't.
It's aluminum. It's aluminum.
So you remember that thing with the tongue?
Yeah,
That's one of those
my
things.
wife remembers that thing with the tongue. Anyway, what?
Of course, she remembers something with a tongue as long as you use it on her.
No, that shut Beebs up. Beebs, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I like tongues. I got a pretty long one.
Yes, yes, you do.
La 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 la.
The last time I was talking about tongues, I was referring to a story. We won't go any further.
Oh,
Oh,
I must have
I'm
missed
kind of
that
interested
one.
now.
What, did it involve the midget? Never mind. You can tell us off
We
here.
represent the lollipop
illegal
killer.
to toss a dwarf in Kentucky. Or maybe that was North Carolina. I forget.
Oh my god, Aunt Jack in the chat brought up how you guys spell color. What the fuck is up with that shit? Jensen?
It's
What,
a fan.
C-O-L?
Yeah, but see, we
Humor.
can't really hold Matt accountable because he's been missing the I in Ain't Jack's name for the whole fucking time he's been hanging out
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
I have corrected him with Aunt Jack so many times, and he still says Aunt Jack.
I'm
That's
like,
right.
it says ain't Jack, which is a common verbal saying. And
It's
he's been calling
okay.
him Aunt. He has a picture of Curious George as his avatar right now.
I
It's
didn't
okay.
think it was Curious George.
My name is Sharati, and neither MC
It's
or
Sharardi.
Dodge can say
Yeah.
Sharati.
It's Sharardi.
Gerardi.
It's
Yeah,
okay, my
they
stepdad.
don't say Sharardi.
Don't worry
Right.
about it. YouTuber Law always refers to me of the meme of destruction. He just skips over the S all the time, and he's a lawyer.
Yeah, no, I say memes. So,
It's
But-
okay. Carl calls him memes.
see,
The man
Oh,
of destruction.
that's what Angel Snubbo calls me, memes.
I
Man-
can't
man of
believe
the
how entertained I am about different pronunciations. Like, this is fucking nerdy shit.
Okay, what's the next story?
What?
What? I thought we were talking about language, damn it.
We're boring
What
him.
happened?
He wants to
You, like,
yell at
fall
policy
asleep
and
and then
people
wake
doing
back up
stupid
or something?
things.
This isn't an MC hour power hour.
I mean, do you want me to rant and rail against the use of the terms fairness and morality? Because I can go on a rant. I will cite a bunch of literature and philosophy and Socratic dialogue.
Tema, have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Lucifer?
Bird is the word. Bird.
Bird is the word. Yes.
God damn you, Tema. Now I have it stuck in my head.
Hey, Jensen, I said Lucifer, not Satan.
And if I weren't afraid to get his goddamn channel struck, I would play that song right now.
Okay, I think you're good up to 6 seconds.
Well, so they reduced it from 30 seconds.
Sorry,
down
guys.
To 15 seconds, and now it's
see
down
you,
to 6.
Tema. Love you.
Wait.
Bye-bye.
Wait, you could do 30 seconds? I thought the general rule of thumb is you can usually get away with almost anything with 6.
15.
So there doesn't seem to be this is why fair use is confusing.
No, that 15 seconds is FCC. That's what I go off of that because that's what radio personalities like Michael Berry can get away with.
How new is the work?
Michael Berry?
No. What I'm saying is, like, what if it's a newly released film? Because sometimes the news, they'll use little clips of that, but they usually don't do that much.
Under 15 seconds.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's FCC regulation.
Cool.
Anyway, I gotta go. I'm up against a time limit. I gotta move furniture before the cream stream. So if y'all have nothing to do at 7 p.m. Pacific or 10 p.m. Eastern, come by Irate Prostate's channel and watch the cream stream where we make fun of weird shit in the news and we rail against nasty fuckers that we find news articles about.
Cool.
All right.
Have fun, hon.
Yep.
Tell Irate hi.
Bye, Tema.
I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Okay, Sanity has left. Now what?
I'm so
Do you want to
glad
go back to ragging on Dodge?
Oh, okay.
No, you got it. Actually, to be fair, that's a very libertarian thing to do. It's actually a very interesting story.
What, beating on Dodge?
Oh, well, that too. Hey, well, here's the thing.
What are you on about now, Memes?
No. What would people go after him for? He literally has shared all his dirty little secrets for the most part on the internet. He has an archive. He's like, I've put all my shit out here.
Memes, can I remind you, we've already...
Well, yeah, no, memes. You know why? Memes. You know why I did that? It's kind of like 8 Mile. Here, tell them something they don't know about me. Throw you the mic. There you go. What's up?
Well, and guess what? You have all the context logged as well. So when they go after you with all the sound bites, it's like, yeah, so this was before, this was after. It's like, who's lying now? Okay. I wanted to use profanity after I said that, but I chose not to.
Okay, so what you're saying is that Dodge is trying to build up a database, a secret database to find out what's really going on.
Oh, I thought the NSA was doing that.
Well, he's obviously been co-opted now, hasn't he?
That's why you came to MMC. This all makes a lot of sense.
Oh my God!
When you look for minions, you take them wherever you can find them.
Wait, no, Matt isn't.
You did not just call
He's
Dodge a secret CIA agent.
No, but he did call him a minion, which is even better.
I like minions. I used to have one.
I've now got a mental image of a minion with that little top hat on. That is awesome.
Dodge, you're a secret CIA minion. Did you know that?
You should change your avatar to that of a minion. I think you get more subs.
And you're an MC CIA agent.
The sad thing is, I think that's true.
Either that's not true, or none of you have used the trigger word to trigger the MK Ultra event. So
I am definitely not enjoying this blowjob right now.
What? Oh my God! I'm not drunk. I am not drunk.
You didn't watch American Dad.
I am so not drunk enough for this stream.
Good.
Well, fix it. I don't know what to tell you, but anyway, the men are talking. Okay, so MC,
Yeah.
that report. They haven't released it to the public yet at all. Do you think? Huh? I said that report. I didn't say the Manafort report again. All right. God damn it.
What report?
The Mueller report has been given
Mueller
to
report, the one that he called the Manafort report earlier today.
They finished.
It just flowed together so well, you guys.
There are reports that there will be no further indictments, no more indictments are forthcoming, and that the report has been handed to William Barr.
Mueller delivers report. Dems demand the full release.
But wasn't the main person that they ended up kind of bagging on like money laundering, like Manafort? It basically was a Manafort report.
That's why I said he was accurate. He just didn't realize it.
It's just something you got in the back of your head. You know, it's like, what came out of this? This guy's going to jail for 10 years for something he did like 15 years ago. It's like,
I know, and it just flowed off the tongue, right? The Manafort report. Come on. Yeah, great.
No, but wait, they gathered a lot of information during that report.
Yeah.
Right?
They did.
Okay. So if they found a bunch of stuff and things, and the president's been basically gone after for like 2 years on this, if you're the president of the United States and folks went after you, and if you just so happens you didn't do anything, you might be a little perturbed.
They went after a lot of people.
Yes, he did. Well, okay. Like I've said on my stream several times. All right. First of all, the reason Mueller went after Manafort, in my opinion, more than anything else, was he had been after Manafort previously, and he thought he had enough evidence to go and get him. And the Justice Department at the time told him, no, there's not enough evidence here, and chose not to go forward with it. Okay, so I think that the Manafort was on Mueller's radar from the get-go. Okay, because he said, this is my chance to prove everyone else that I got the goods to get this guy. Okay, so that's why I think
I'm going to jump in right here. It says on the article that I've got open on the Mueller report, in less than 2 years, Mueller's investigation has led to criminal charges against more than 30 individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13 of them, all right, are Russians that will never see indictment.
Yeah.
Okay. And of the other ones, there was no criminal activity until the investigation.
I thought the Russians showed up, or somebody showed up.
No, that was for the organization.
No, I just find it amusing that they went after as many people as they did.
Well, they had to cover up their crimes.
That they went after as many people as they did that were so close to Trump. Well, because they were trying to find stuff on Trump.
They were covering up a crime?
Yeah.
Which crime?
Did you read? Did you study what they did to Papadopoulos?
Oh, was he the dude that got drunk and then said some stupid shit, and then they used that urine?
Not just that. Not just that.
They
went after Papadopoulos.
Yeah.
Hold on. They went after Papadopoulos because they put a plant there to plant the evidence to say that have you heard that WikiLeaks has this evidence? And it's like, oh, okay. So that when he came back, they could come back and say, when he talked to this next guy, he said, I heard that the WikiLeaks had evidence. And then they took that along with the FISA court to say, look, this is evidence that there's more stuff out there. This is criminal.
So they entrapped him?
Oh, they did more than entrap him. They went and took something that they knew was a lie to the FISA court because they had created it. And they said, we have to investigate it because we heard this from this group, and it was something that they themselves had created to intentionally get him to say this so that they could bring it to the FISA court.
Yeah, it was Jeb Bush stuff that I thought.
No, it was not Jeb Bush stuff. That's another lie.
Okay, so where did it come from? I thought it was opposition research.
The company that did opposition research for Jeb Bush also did did opposition research, all right, for Hillary Clinton. But none of that came out by Jeb Bush. That evidence that they came up with, like the piss dossier and everything, all right, hadn't been done until Hillary Clinton. Okay, it was not Jeb Bush's, and as much as I hate the son of a bitch, it was not his research that led to this.
No, it came from the firm that he was working with that was already digging dirt and shit.
No, it was the firm that he himself had hired to dig up dirt, but he didn't get any dirt when he canceled his campaign. And then Hillary Clinton hired that firm, and then they came up with dirt because they were more than willing to go and invent it. But what's worse is the FBI sent agents in there to plant known false information. And then they said, look at this information that we got to the FISA court. It was information they had planted.
Wait, this was the FBI.
Yes.
That did this.
This was the FBI and the DOJ under good old Comey and Rod Rosenstein and Nancy Yates.
I thought CIA agents were supposed to lie. I didn't think FBI agents were supposed to lie.
Really?
FBI isn't supposed to do a lot of stuff.
This sounds like a major incident, MC. I mean, somebody should look into it.
And who was it that stood up there? Who was it that stood up there and told the CIA and said, okay, we're going to open up this investigation so the other intel agencies could work with them?
I don't know.
Oh, your hero. You know, your grand hero, Barack Hussein Obama. So they couldn't, and it was an effort to hide where this information was actually coming from. Well, because it was Loretta Lynch and her dealings, all right, that were coming out and were getting exposed. This is what they're trying to hide. Mueller is going to have a lot of explaining to do when this report does come out, because one of the things this is why the Democrats, they're saying, "Oh, release it now." Well, I can tell you right now, they'll stop that soon. You know why? Because there's Democrats all over there, all right, that were committing criminal activity that he chose not to go after, like Tony Podesta's brother.
Well, MC, it's a good thing the Mueller investigation is over. Those resources will be freed up to look into what was going on.
What resources? They all quit. Remember, this was a special counsel, and he hired, all right, people that weren't part of any investigation at the time or part of the FBI, because it had to be a neutral investigation. He hired previous people that have all ran back to their little frickin' hobbit holes.
Well, can the president appoint a special counsel?
Sure. Can he? No.
Can he ask whoever's in charge, who's ever in charge of the Justice Department?
Can he ask William Barr to sit up there and appoint one? Yeah, and I suspect that might be going to be happening.
Oh, well, due process.
It's not due process. It was criminal activity that was being done and being hidden, and it was being hidden because of what these guys were really doing, and the press was all for it.
Well, if this occurred, then if we're talking about this and a special counsel may be appointed, then it will be exposed, right? Because
will it?
I don't know.
Will it? If the press sits up there and does a full court press to prevent this and starts their hatchet job, like they did against Ken Starr, will the truth be known? Did you know the truth about Bill Clinton until I started saying, hey, take a look at this?
We also didn't have Facebook, Twitter, and YouTubes at that
time. Did you know about it?
The information dissemination
you've been living in that world for how long? Memes where Facebook and Twitter and all the other things were there. What did it take for you to actually find out about Bill Clinton?
Oh, talking to people that were presenting information that I wasn't aware of.
Nope. You had to actually go out of your way to investigate it, didn't you?
No, you told me about it. You gave me
I told you about it, and you finally said, let me go investigate to see if he's lying to me.
Memes. I'm 32 years old.
Problem.
I have a library in my house.
Wrong context.
No. I just go based upon where the source is coming from, and I'm like, all right. There's usually a semblance of truth. I usually work upon the principle of half truths. It's like depending on the person, it's like all right.
Yeah. Was
If
it a half
someone-
truth?
whatever someone's telling me, if half of it is true, I'm like, you know what? Then there's probably.
Well, let me ask you a
something
question.
going on.
Was it a half truth that I was telling you?
Oh no, there seemed to be stuff going on, and
Now, why is it that you believe? Well, both sides are probably the same, so I'm believing half truths. Where does that philosophy come from, memes?
the fact that people very often don't want to call out their own is essentially what I've observed.
Mm-hmm. And what side
I call bullshit. I call out my own party.
There are varying levels. Yes.
No, Gary, what is Aleppo Johnson was the biggest fucking mistake for the Libertarian Party since Bill
Did you
Weld.
vote for Gary Aleppo Johnson?
I did.
Okay, then it must not have been enough of a mistake, was he?
It was better than Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
You're
I
wrong.
stand by that.
And in what way was he going to be better than Trump?
Marijuana would be legal right now.
Yeah, but you know what? What wouldn't be there? He wouldn't be investigating the criminal activity and the politicization of the Justice Department, would he? Which one's more important to the country?
Jeff Sessions would have never been appointed.
It doesn't matter if Jeff Sessions was appointed or not.
Do
There wouldn't have been a Mueller report, all right, if it wasn't for the fact that Trump got elected. So what difference does that make? What really would have been in there is all the criminal activity leading up to that would have been swept under the rug because good old Gary Aleppo Johnson would never have investigated it.
Oh, I think he would have been happy to just be president.
Exactly.
Dodge, do you really think there would be so much socialism or that it would be as rampant as it is right now?
I know
If
there wouldn't
Gary
be clashes
Aleppo-
in the streets. I know there wouldn't be clashes in the streets with Antifa and Black Lives
What
Matter.
the hell do you mean
I
by
know.
that? You think that Antifa is attacking it because it's Trump? You're out of your
That's what
freaking.
they say. Look at their own work.
They've been around for a while. I've listened to some
Antifa
of their
was
stuff.
doing rioting and burning things in freaking DC under freaking Obama.
The thing is, though, your idea that Gary Johnson would not have investigated, where are you basing that upon? Because
I base it on the
he's not
fact
a
that you
member of the
libertarians.
Democratic Party.
Well, I base it on the fact that you libertarians have this attitude of a laissez-faire when it comes to legalisms, and it's something like this, which desperately needed to be investigated. He would have said, let's just let it go, and that's what libertarians have a tendency to do. They don't go in there and grab things like the teeth. Take a look at Rand Paul. Where do you see him grabbing something in a freaking committee hearing?
Goddamn time. How many
in
times
a committee hearing, he sure as hell. He does a filibuster that he knows is going to fail.
Before you respect the man,
he sits up there and does a filibuster on something that he knows that he's going to fail. Show me where he has gone after, all right, this freaking crap. All right, in a committee hearing.
He put in the work, MC. It takes a lot of work to stand and talk for like 20 hours.
Filibustering, playing
Ted Cruz did it too.
Sesame Street all day, all right? He is up there saying a speech for fucking 18 hours. He can't even leave to take a
do in a committee hearing?
Ron Wyden comes.
What did he do in the? And I believe he's on the Judiciary Committee, isn't he? What did he do in that hearing compared to Lindsey Graham?
Hey, we did talk about Graham getting some balls earlier.
Whoa, we're not talking about Graham at the moment. I'm just talking about in comparison to Graham. Where was Rand Paul, or was he found wanting?
What was he in the hospital at the time?
Is this one of his
he was not
pet
in the hospital.
fucking? Is this something he really necessarily cares about?
You don't care about who's on the judiciary? You don't care about who's on the Supreme Court?
Foreign fucking sovereign territory.
I'm sorry, you're worried about the Supreme Court and declaring things, and he made a point of pontificating. He made a point to pontificate about how he thinks the president.
A fucking Democrat. Give me a goddamn break.
Where was
dude.
he? Did he or did he not get on his little soapbox to pontificate about how he thought the president was exceeding his powers, the powers the legislature gave him?
He is.
Okay, then you're going to tell me at the same time. Okay, first of all, he isn't. But aside from that, let's talk about. Then you're just
been.
Hold on a second, Mad Dodge. You will argue that point again in a few seconds. But then he's going to sit up there and go back and go, well, I really don't care who's on the Supreme Court.
I don't think those were his words. I could be wrong.
Well, he wasn't really. I said in comparison.
To me.
I see. I think each member of Congress has a hierarchy of priorities.
His hierarchy is to pontificate about the Constitution. But when you're talking about selecting a Supreme Court justice, that's not a priority.
That was a mistake. I agree.
You're making excuses.
But no. MC, if he's working with the Constitution, then he's open to. He doesn't seem to want to waste political capital or energy.
So he's
things like that.
Words,
as long as the person is qualified,
he was trying to play a political game rather than stick with his principles. Is that what you're suggesting means?
What are his principles? Was he going against his principles?
You tell me what his principles are, because supposedly
I don't know. I thought he was a Republican,
right?
I don't know. You want to know what his principles are? Don't spy on American citizens. Don't drone.
Yeah, how do I know that that's his principle and not just a convenient point to a bullet point because of politics now?
To be fair, how is that one going?
For how many years?
Because what's he done about it? What's he ever gotten through?
If you're the minority, how are you going to get anything through? That's like telling me.
Maybe he's a shit legislator who can't get people to agree with him. Maybe he's doing a shit job as a legislator.
He's got a lot more people agreeing with him than you think.
What's the job?
Really? But he's got so many people agreeing with him more than I think, and has yet to be successful.
You have to build a coalition.
Well, how long's he been there now?
8 years, I think.
Okay, and he hasn't been able to build enough of a coalition yet?
How many years has Nancy Pelosi been there before she had her seat? And
Nancy Pelosi. We're not talking about comparing it to Nancy Pelosi.
She got Obamacare and stuff.
How many years did it take?
A bunch.
Well, then 8 years in comparison is nothing, right?
No, it's not nothing. It's not nothing.
Well, what's the job of a legislature? Like what is their actual job? Is it to pass law? Is it to pass good law? Is it to help preserve the Constitution? Is it to speak nice words? Is it to argue? Is it to actually write the law?
It depends on which house you're talking about.
Just general person in Congress.
No, because there's no such thing as a general person in Congress. You have senators, which have a different role than what the House does.
Reps, yeah.
The House is supposed to represent their constituents.
Okay.
The Senate is supposed to represent their state. That's how it was designed.
Is that how it's functioning?
No, because it's not functioning. That's obvious.
Oh, that's a problem.
Really?
Well, let's fix it.
So what's Rand Paul done to sit up there and get it to start functioning correctly?
Point me out a senator who has done better. I'm waiting.
Well, as far as what? When you say better, as far as what?
Policy.
Mitch McConnell's done better. Mitch McConnell was able to sit up.
Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not ready.
Whether you like it or not, Mitch McConnell has, whether you like it or not, Mitch McConnell has put together a coalition and has successfully gotten votes through.
Shitty votes?
Whether you like it or not is immaterial.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's the majority leader.
You asked me who's created a coalition.
How dare you, MC, compare the Republican leader in the Senate to Rand Paul, who's a Republican?
You want to know who else has gotten a coalition
might not get elected as a
that's
libertarian.
Far superior to frickin' Rand Paul? Chuck Schumer.
Oh.
Okay, you know what, everybody? I will be back if I survive hanging myself with an Ethernet cord. Give me a minute.
To be fair, objectively, MD, I think MC is correct.
You go fuck yourself, man.
The leaders of the Senate and Rand Paul is.
No.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Rand Paul, I'm just pointing out, I don't know. Are these facts?
I'm gonna
Mostly?
lose my mind here.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna Chuck fucking Schumer? Are you fucking with me right now?
Does he not have a bigger coalition than Rand
You're
Paul?
just fucking with me.
Does
Never
he
mind. It's all
have
good.
more control as a coalition member than Rand Paul does? Yes or no?
Rand Paul is not the leader of the Republican Senate. You
I didn't
fucking
ask that.
motherfucker, dude.
And okay, so let's talk about Kirsten Gillibrand.
Uh-oh. Well, she's from a big state.
Yeah, Kentucky's tiny. Goddammit.
Excuse
Not that
making
small.
after excuse. Well, isn't Mitch McConnell from Kentucky?
Oh.
Oh, goddamn Chuck. Are you kidding me? Fuck.
Is he or is he not from Kentucky?
No.
care.
Let's be nice to Matt. Let's be nice to Matt. What's the most recent
wait,
major
wait, wait,
legislation
wait,
that he
wait,
Let
sponsored?
him win one? What is this?
We have to be nice, so he'll come back.
I'm sorry, I'm not into giving out participation trophies here. If he wants to do a challenge, on
I don't
something,
give my
and then I want him to back up, and I back up what I'm saying. He's got to sit up there and start coming to the realization. It's time he understood
Realization
there's
of
something
what?
called reality.
No. You know what? The realization of what, MC? The fact that you're right doesn't make you many friends. Yeah, I fucking know it. I live it every day. You fucking assholes.
I have yet to hear where you're
Oh,
right.
excuse me, Dodge. We may be dicks to you as far as it comes to politics because we don't always agree. But when you need a friend, who are the people you come running to? Fuck off.
Fair enough.
She took
Fair
that
enough,
personally.
But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just because I'm right doesn't mean everybody likes me. Look at Calhoun. Nobody fucking
Trust
liked
me,
him. He was
Mad Dodge. My
Like-
personality has been far more on the side of not of standing against this crap than you have. I've been doing it for a hell of a lot longer than you have.
Well, now you're
Doku
not
has an
just-
opinion. I think I would like
Get
to
your
share.
ass in here then,
Sure.
Doku, and either speak it
Go ahead and give his
Rand
opinion.
Paul is a Red Sox fan apparently. I like
I
that.
am, I am not a Red
That's a
Sox
lie.
fan.
That's a lie. And if I find out it's not a lie,
To be fair, he said Sox fan. He
Green
did not
Party.
I
specify
am not
red
a
or white.
Red
Red is
Sox.
on right
I
now.
am not a Red
Rand
Sox
Paul
fan.
is a Red Sox fan. I will join the Green Party.
Wait, you're Rand Paul? I thought I've seen you both at the same time. I don't know if I believe that.
Oh,
He might be. Now, Rand Paul might be a Red Sox fan. I don't know.
I better Google that. I don't want to fuck up here. I'm not joining the Green Party, people. God damn it.
There aren't any green socks. Oh, unless you're colorblind. My apologies to our friends. Sorry, Gabby.
oh my God, you are such a fucking centrist.
Red, blue, colorblind.
All right. So, another thing I wanted to talk about tonight, the Golem Heights. MC.
Yes, better change the subject really fast.
MC, I didn't see your video today because my kids let me sleep till 2 in the afternoon. Then again, I was up all night worried about something. You know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
It doesn't need to be live. So, yeah, I slept in. But the Golem Heights, Trump says they belong to Israel. Israel doesn't even say that.
What are you
they-
talking about? Israel doesn't say that. Israel annexed it in 1981.
Yep.
There are settlements there, I
Tim Pool
thought.
said.
Huh?
I watched that video by Tim Pool.
Well, Tim Pool is wrong. They annexed it in 1981.
I don't think Tim Pool was born then.
Oh, so the excuse making.
Oh,
goes
is he
for
younger
Tim
than
Pool.
I am? Holy shit.
Are you like how did he phrase it?
I don't know. I didn't see the video.
Okay.
I saw the video. He said,
I thought
He-
MC watched all of Tim Pool's videos.
yeah, I know. right?
I get around to it now and then, but I mean, at certain times, sometimes I miss a few and have to play catch up.
But no, okay, so Israel did annex it. We'll skip ahead because I don't know exactly how he phrased it, so I don't want to misquote somebody. So, what's the implications of this, man? Syria and Russia are not gonna like this move.
Russia doesn't care. Okay, first of all, Russia doesn't give a shit. Right? They'll use wording because they want to be quote unquote friends with the Syrians, but as far as the Russians really care, they couldn't give a rat's ass. Right? That's reality. They don't care. Okay. As far as what's the ramifications for this, look, and I said this before, there are reasons why. All right, you have national borders, and national borders means you have to create things that are defensible. Okay, this affects both nations because both nations can utilize the Golan Heights against the other nation and have done so in the past.
Jensen in the chat says we are already planning on getting Matt a Red Sox mankini.
It's true, we are.
And Goku, dude, I don't want any Red Sox, all right? But I'm not scared to give you my address. So hook me up with a fucking PS4 game or something.
Maybe I'll grab you a Big Poppy jersey.
Oh,
Poppy is creepy as fuck.
I'm gonna kill you. You're coming out here, dude. I'm gonna.
I'm gonna
walk
on hot
up and be
sauce
like,
and stuff.
Don't say stupid shit like that, because if something unfortunate happens to memes, they're going to come back and play this, and you're going to find out why you got investigated.
No, they're probably going to investigate me first because I'm the one who keeps threatening to shoot him.
I'm gonna shake your hand, memes, and be like, "It's damn nice to meet you." Hand you a beer and then sock you in the fucking arm, because you're a dick. And then we'll hang out. It'll be all good.
Well,
And
yeah.
let you hit me back, and then we'll see how it works.
Well, I am a dick. We know this. The bit's been played out.
But back to the question when you're asking about the Golan Heights. All right, the Golan Heights, all right, are a strategic point. Okay, that overlooks both flat areas of both nations. Okay, Syria has used the Golan Heights to attack the Israelis. They re-seized it temporarily, the Golan Heights temporarily during the Yom Kippur War. Okay, and then when they were launching their attacks, and it gives them a awesome advantage in being able to see deployments. Now, there's a lot of people who will say that with modern technology now, the advantage of the Golan Heights is minimal. But I would tend to disagree with people like that, because they're just because it might be lessened to a slight extent due to the fact that you can launch missiles and stuff. All right, it doesn't mean that it's still not a strategic base in which to launch attacks back and forth. All right, especially when you start dealing with the technology of tunneling and everything else, it provides an awesome advantage to whoever owns the Golan Heights or whoever controls it.
Here's the thing, MC. If you control the Golan Heights and you consider that Israeli territory, they can do whatever they want with it, correct? So they could build a missile silo there, and they can have a very strong strategic advantage over Syria in any upcoming war, which, let's be frank, will happen.
Is the Golan Heights between Israel and Syria, or Israel and Palestine? Oh,
yeah, Israel and Syria. There is no Palestine. There never has been.
What? I think many people would disagree with that,
and many people would pull shit out of their ass too. There's a hell of a lot of people who believe in flat Earth as well.
Yes, hey, and we know the Turtle's a gal.
I heard you were a flat earther. I wanted to bring that up to you, actually.
No, he wants to flatten places on the Earth. Oh, MC, actually, no, is that the solution? Quick 5D chess pitch for you. So President Trump goes out of his way, especially if he didn't tell our friends in Israel that, yeah, the Golan Heights is yours, and he just tweets that shit out. That's going to spark a shitstorm. So all of a sudden, he's put in play, this is Israel. What if the grand compromise was, all right, if you don't want the strategic position, well, flatten the Golan Heights. We got some Moabs.
Well,
you move everyone out, of course, and compensate them.
Yeah, but that doesn't fix the issue. And you got to remember, this is whenever you talk about doing any kind of bombing in Israel and so forth, or even in the Middle East, the one thing that people should always keep in mind is there is historic value all around there.
Oh, it is the Holy Land. I'm sorry, we shouldn't drop bombs in the Holy Land.
It's not that. It's when I talk about historic, I'm talking about his history. But if you're dropping bombs in Baghdad, you're running the risk of destroying priceless, historical artifacts and historical works. Okay.
Wasn't
You're
ISIS doing
ruining
that too?
tombs. Laura Croft can't get to her shit.
Well,
Oh
no,
my
here's
God.
the thing. Do you think the Dead Sea Scrolls were the only things hidden in the Middle East? I mean,
Fuck
yeah,
no.
every bomb they blow up probably destroys some artifact.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be
we need
real.
to release Brother Slither.
Okay, so when you're talking about the bombings and things like that, this is something else to keep in mind. Now, the Golan Heights have been a sore point for the Syrians for a long time. All right, but if they hadn't used it in a war against Israel, Israel would probably have already given it back. There's very, very little territory that Israel hasn't given back. All right, since 1967. Okay, and parts of it, I mean, for crying out loud, they gave back the entire Sinai back to Egypt, right, including massive oil reserves.
Why did they do that? They won it in war. They were attacked first.
Why?
Did
It was part of the Camp David Accords. All right.
why did they ever sign that treaty? It was ridiculous. They won the war.
Well, they won the war, but then again, that doesn't mean that you're going to win the peace. You're trying to win the peace. You're not trying to always win the war.
Well, I think that's why we need better definitions of what winning is in particular scenarios.
Complete destruction of the enemy.
Okay, when I'm playing Civ 5, I take a territory, I annex it immediately. Yeah, there's some upset people for a while. It lowers my shit. But then it gets better, and then I go and I take some more territory.
How many years do you want to play? I mean, if you remember, with Civ, the years start counting 20 years at a time. I think initially 50.
That's a fair point. I play on marathons, so it goes a little bit slower than that, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, how long do you want to be the people there oppressing the
well, it's not what's
oppressor?
Okay, that goes back to what's oppression.
It would be conquest, right?
Well, what's oppression?
Your ideals, forcing your beliefs upon another.
What is forcing your beliefs on another? Do you believe that Christians who disagree with gay marriage were oppressed?
Kind of. No, you want to argue
believe that they are now.
I believe it goes the other way too. When the vote for gay marriage came up in Oregon, I voted yes, that's fine. I don't believe the government has any say-so within marriage.
Well, you're an idiot, but that's okay. If you believe that, you're a moron.
No, I believe it should be a religious issue. It's a union between...
Whether you like it or not, we have plenty of... Whether you like it or not, marriage is a social issue and always has been a social issue, regardless of religion.
So how does me being married to my wife affect you, MC? How?
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with society. Why do you think government got involved with marriage? Why would government get involved with marriage, all right, in and of itself? What reasoning does it have to have? It has to have some reasoning that affects or that they look at is positive toward why they want to do this, right? The government's not going to get involved in things that it doesn't care about because it has no effect on it. So then what is the reason for it? Because societies, regardless of where you go, even back to to caveman societies, found it's the best and only method, all right, for the best part of rearing young, okay, of rearing the young, which society do have a freaking stake in.
Well, if you don't have more people, society is just going to stop.
So then, from what I take from that, you believe marriage is between a man and a woman.
I believe that societies have to define it, and I think that, yes, it should always have remained between a man and a woman. But that's because it's a social construct how societies have organized and need to organize. It's the best way to raise children. Homosexual marriage provides, in and of itself, means there won't be any children. Therefore, why would you redefine it that way? Well, in this case, the reason it got redefined was because people were creating an upset dynamic to try and redo it this way.
Because it was affecting people as far as visiting, like, your partner in the hospital and stuff. Like, there actually were problems. Like,
that is a lie, and it has nothing to do with it. Memes. It wasn't about that. You had civil unions which accomplished that exact thing. So that wasn't
the way it was written in, I believe, certain states is what caused the issue.
No, what caused the issue is the people said,
we should have done it through the legislature rather than
No, they wanted it to be called marriage because they wanted to rub it in the face of other people that they disagreed with. That was the reason it was done that way, Memes.
That's not what I heard, man.
No, of course it's not what you heard.
Maybe that's what some people were saying. Maybe that was some people's reasons, but I think
no. But the reality was that was the reality. Okay, they were using that as a wedge issue and as an excuse. The left was doing it to create another dynamic and to try and create another core group that was beholden to them. It was all about identity politics for the left.
I remember a candidate at the time, Barack Hussein Obama, that supported civil unions and did not support gay men. So I'm not sure where this whole left thing is going. And what did he do
when he got power?
Oh, well, he seemed to evolve on the issue.
Oh, he has
evolved my ass.
He'd sit up there and in other words, he didn't have any real principles behind his stance. It was all about the left-wing movement.
So if he was
had nothing to do
before, why wasn't he doing it before? If people were bringing it up for years.
Because he couldn't get power
it was
that way.
Unpopular. Okay.
No, because he couldn't get power that way.
Well,
remember, his goal is power.
Well, no, and like you say evolve, I say flip-flop.
No, he didn't. He did not change his stance on gay marriage because of he evolved on the issue. He did it because this was now an issue he could push once he was within power. He no longer had to be. Notice when it happened. Did it happen in his first term? No. Did it happen in his second term? Yes. When he no longer needed it.
No,
on the issue.
And the thing is, though,
nice.
You know damn well I was raised Catholic. I'm a straight white male, all right? Like, I'm not fucking gay. It's not my business to tell people what to do with their own lives. So
you're not telling them what to do with their own lives. And that's another thing. Where does that come from? How is it them sitting there saying, I want to do this, you let me do this, as something that I'm telling them to do something with their own lives?
It's a restriction.
I get what you're saying. You're saying I'm looking at the whole.
No, it was a definition.
Wrong. Yeah.
Did it stop any gay person from marrying somebody of the opposite sex?
Probably.
No, it didn't.
Why were there all those people getting married as soon as it became law?
Listen to what I said. Did it stop any gay person from marrying someone of the opposite sex?
I suppose they could have gone out of state to do it.
You're not listening. Did you listen to the question?
No, but if they like dick, MC, why are they marrying a fucking vagina?
Because that's the definition of marriage. They wanted to change the definition of marriage, which is why they did it.
Didn't George Bush do that? Wasn't that the whole Defense of Marriage Act? So if somebody already did that and somebody removed that seems like, well, I don't know. That kind of seems like folks were doing something and folks were responding. I don't know.
No, it was people were sitting up there trying to change the definition of marriage. At no point did the Defense of Marriage Act affect a civil union in any way, shape, or form. Did it?
I was really hoping, MC, that Memes would actually hear your question.
So
No,
because civil
Did
unions
you-
were okay. Yeah, it's not
No,
not the same
memes.
thing.
Did
What do you
you
mean it's not the
even
same
once?
thing?
Did you even once hear MC's question?
Yes.
What did he say?
Did it stop them? Well, as I said, you could go to another state. That seems like
No,
a
then you
major
didn't hear my question, Memes.
choice of life.
Then you
What's
didn't
that?
hear my question.
I did not then.
I'm going to say it again. At any point in time, all right, does this prevent somebody who's a gay from marrying somebody of the opposite sex?
Does what?
The marriage.
In other words, did it stop a lesbian from marrying a guy? Did it stop a homosexual from marrying a female?
Oh, their partner, they couldn't marry the person they loved.
Well, wait. But marriage has nothing to do with love from the perspective of the state, does it? What?
Pursuits of happiness. I don't know, MC. That seems kind of cold.
I didn't ask you whether it was cold. When you talk about it from a societal point of view, it has nothing to do with whether someone loves one another. Does it?
That is actually
I
true.
do remember the whole pursuit of happiness.
What pursuit
Yeah,
of
so-
happiness come? Where did that come from?
I don't know. The Constitution, was that
No,
the
that
Declaration?
did not come from the Constitution. And the
Okay.
pursuit of happiness, you're going to tell me that the government is granting you happiness? You
By
have to
doing
go to the
that thing?
government to get happiness?
If it's restricting you, I mean, that doesn't
How is it
seem very-
restricting you? It's not restricting you from engaging in any activity, is it?
Yes, but
No!
there are states that still have laws against different things.
There are states
It's on
that
the
have
books.
laws against different things, but this
Yeah.
has nothing to do with that, does it?
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Well, real quick, reading the chat. Doku, I have one
I'm
question.
surprised Bear Dog hasn't
I know,
risen
right?
out of her
I know,
grave
I know.
somewhere to come after
Right?
me.
Yeah,
She's
she's
trying
not
to do one.
looking, obviously. But Doku says, I have one question. Am I allowed to have a Scotch-Irish pride parade? Maybe a Germanic pride parade? How about Australian? I would add, how about Confederate? How about a bunch of Union fucking people dressed in Union blue marching down the street? Are we allowed for that? They're allowed for their pussy hat parade and their gay pride parade.
You can try. I don't think you'd get very far.
The government doesn't have to give you anything.
We have the right to assemble.
Okay.
Well, you
You have
might
the
need
right
a
to
permit.
assemble,
So
but you're
yeah.
not get but you need as long as it's in a
No, we
peaceful
don't need
manner.
a permit. It's in the Constitution. We have a
No, I
right.
hate to tell you this. You have the right of peaceful assembly, something you constantly forget to add.
Oh, the peaceful part?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, all right.
You
We'll
have a
add the
license for that, mate.
Wait, what was that, Jensen? The cannibal? What?
You got a license for that one, mate.
They got a license for that, mate. Bloody hell, bloke.
And if there's going to be
Yeah,
a bunch of drunken assholes, you're going to need
Hey, do you want a
permit.
cup of Rosie?
Oh, dear.
no. Because that's about all you know.
But the thing is, though, MC, man, I voted yes because it's not my business to tell who.
Once again,
You know.
your reasoning is so flawed, it's unbelievable. And that's the other problem with frickin' libertarians is they don't actually think about things. They're very similar to liberals in that they feel their way through things instead of thinking about it.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you can think a way that, maybe you're not going to restrict people.
They're not restricting anybody. A marriage license is what means?
It's a contract.
It's what? No. What does the government do with a marriage license?
I have no idea. They take your
It
money.
Issues it.
Okay.
Okay, this is not a thing about, are you telling me that the government issues happiness?
when that gal wasn't issuing people's marriage licenses because of her moral objection. Yeah, I
And
think it was
people were
restricted to
like,
people's
let's go
happiness.
after the Christian because she's a Christian. That's the main gripe that they had about her.
It was obstructing government from doing its job.
No, that was she was sitting up there living, doing her what she saw.
Oh, she was pursuing her happiness.
No,
I
she was
see.
saying she wasn't pursuing anything.
I thought a person's rights ended when another person's
I'm sorry,
rights
but
began.
she wasn't pursuing anything.
All right, we
She
can agree to
wasn't
disagree.
doing things for other people. That's it. She wasn't pursuing.
She wasn't doing
things.
her job.
No, okay, well then fire her.
I think that's what happened.
Okay, and
I think she sued.
and what did they sue? Oh, she did sue. On what grounds? They were firing her for what?
Oh, for not doing her job.
No, they were firing her because she sat up there and had religious objections.
Okay.
And they were saying, you're going to be forced to sit up there and not listen to your religion. You're going to do it our way.
Couldn't they find like another job or something? Just swap places with somebody? If she had decided?
Which is what they did, wasn't it?
Oh, well, that sounds like a better solution.
Okay, so in other words, what was the
Why?
what was the first solution to begin with? Not change the freaking law to sit up there and say this is marriage and go on with civil union. But the reason that they continue to push for it is because they want to change society. They don't give a damn about the legality of these things. They wanted to change society, which is why it was more important for them to do away with quote unquote civil unions and demand it be called marriage.
I didn't know Dick Cheney was a hardcore leftist.
Dick
Well,
Cheney
no,
isn't a hardcore leftist. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Memes?
No, I hate to do this, but on that note, I do believe Exiled Opinions, because it's Friday, it's going to be going live here soon. We're going to have to wrap it up. We'll be back tomorrow, and then on Sunday, we got the Civil War stream. There's only 3 or 4 more episodes left in the books, guys. We're going to wrap that up. And
it's going to get really freaking heated real soon with the Civil War.
Yeah, well, Atlanta. Fuck you, MC.
You guys ever going to tell us who wins this, by the way?
The only flag that matters is the one that was swung at the end, which was white.
The South wins. If you look at Reconstruction. But anyway. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming out. It's been good. It's been great. I think it's been real great. Yeah, I stole that from you, Eldritch. Fuck off. I'll go back to my regular thing. Good night, good luck. Don't go to fucking France. We're out. Peace.